welcome to Silverstone for the latest encounter of the Royal Purple Hot Hatch Championship. In 2018, it goes from strength to strength. We've got over 20 cars on the grid this weekend.
Thank you, Anthony. The cars lining up on the grid ahead of a damp first race here at Silverstone, with Ben Rushworth and Steve Sawley making up row one, ahead of Roger Vella and Alistair Camp on the second row. Then it's Ben Leach and Phil Wright ahead of Martin Ward and Chris Southcott at the head of an immense field of 29 hot hatches ready to do battle around the Silverstone International Circuit here this morning. 13 minutes plus one lap in these sort of damp and slippery conditions, though that is plenty of time to squeeze in lots and lots of drama. So a damp track, rain in the air, and Ben Rushworth and Steve Sawley making it an all-Honda row one, the Integra alongside the Civic. The red lights go out, we're away in racing, and it doesn't look like a great start there for the pole sitter. So Steve Sawley gets the lead down towards turn number one, and Roger Vella is diving up the inside as well. Rushworth will just about hang on to second position then, so it's Sawley from Rushworth from Vella, your top three. Then it's the black Civic next in line as they all try to squeeze through, of Ben Leach, I believe, into fourth position. So Alistair Camp, the man who has slipped backwards slightly, but here he comes back up the inside in the green Ford Fiesta. But no, actually he's dropped down towards the tail end of the top 10. In actual fact, contact further back, and around goes the number 24 Renault Clio, unfortunately there, and that is not a good start to the race for Callum Houchen, who is actually third place in the Class B Championship coming into this race. That's not the start to the race that he was after. Side-by-side action in front of us there. The number 33 car on the outside line is Sean Green. Diving up the inside of him was one of the Peugeot 106 rallies, but this is the lead battle with Steve Sawley just ahead of pole sitter Ben Rushworth. Now, you would imagine that in the wet conditions, the slightly longer wheel-based Integra might be a little more stable, but we know how powerful and also how fragile that car has been throughout the season so far. So this is certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination. Steve Sawley will fancy his chances of fending off the Integra, which with all its power might be struggling for traction out of the corners, but through the corners it seems to have really, really good pace. Out onto the pit straight they come, and Steve Sawley is just in front. They both run wide over the sodden and very, very slippery curbs and painted runoff areas there. That was risky stuff, but Rushworth not quite able to get up the inside in towards turn number one at Abbey Corner. On board with Paul Cockerell here. He has got one of the Civics in front of him. That's possibly Alex Tate, I believe, that he's trying to find a way past. They work their way through the end of the lap. This for the race lead though, and Rushworth's up the inside of Sawley at Village, and that will give him the inside line for the next corner as well, down at Chapel. Nice move there, using the grip where they can find it, not necessarily on the traditional racing line, but finding the grip, using it well. Christian Line gains a position. You can really see that halfway through the race, maybe Martin Ward has used his tyres a bit too much, because he's really struggling for pace now at this stage of the race, and has lost 3 positions in pretty quick succession, really. Phil Wright, though, I'd say is closing in on Ben Leach, so that could be another position gain maybe for the number 63 car that really is starting to come on strong in the second half of the race. Some drivers maybe just taking a bit longer than others to get to grips with the conditions, find out where the grip is, and you can see the wide variance of lines through Stowe Corner is a testament to just how challenging the conditions are, and there's not necessarily one right line to be on. It's just a case of trying to find the one that works marginally better for you. And as the race goes on, maybe some drivers will land upon that perfect line a little bit more quickly than others. As we go on to now, though, the final lap of the race, so if you're going to make those last moves, you have to do it now, and it looks as though Christian Line is the man most likely to do so now, because he's latched straight onto the tail of Philip Wright going in towards Abbey Corner, and Phil has got the green machine bearing down on him now, and in fact they're going to be side by side through Farm. This, remember, is where Line got past Martin Ward a lap ago on the left hand side of the road, and now on the right hand side he dives up the inside in towards Village and picks up another position. So really good driving this from Christian Line, into 5th position now from 9th on the grid. So he is somebody who maybe ought to do a rain dance before every race, because he's come on very strong in the inclement conditions. Down the hill they go, through the right-hander and onto the pit straight, and there's more side-by-side action behind, because I think Martin Ward has now been caught by the next car car behind as well. This man, though, is being caught by nobody because Ben Rushworth is about to come through the final couple of corners to take another race victory. This will be his 4th race win of the year, and it will pull him clear in the championship now from his nearest rival in Class A, Steve Sawley. Across the line he goes, and Ben Rushworth with a terrific win here at Silverstone. There's no one else in sight, really. The Citroen Saxo behind is a lap down. There is Steve Sawley in the background coming through to finish in 2nd place, but it's a 4th victory of the year for Ben Rushworth, and the stunning Honda Integra DC is victorious once more from Steve Sawley by nearly 10 seconds over Ben Leach in 3rd, with Christian Lyon 4th, Phil Wright 5th, then Martin Ward, Rodren Vella, Neil Stringfellow, Alistair Camp and Michael Winkworth rounding out the top 10. Ben Rushworth is the Class A winner, Christian Lyon wins in Class B, and 10th place overall for Michael Winkworth gives him a further extended championship margin in Class C. Our retirements: Charlie Collins, William Clifford, whilst Chris Southcott and Jonathan Swift were non-starters.
Ben, you're concerned about the little niggles which have put you out in previous races, so to come away to win, you've got to be happy.
Oh, I'm really happy considering we had a little niggle during that race again. I don't know what happened. Steve got a cracking start and managed to get in front, and I knew he was going to be really defensive, so I had to attack on the 2nd, 3rd lap, and I managed to squeeze around the outside. We had a small friendly touch, but it was all good.
Race number 2 about to get underway here at Silverstone with Rushworth and Sawley back on row 1, Ben Leach and Christian Lyon row 2, then it's Phil Wright and Martin Ward ahead of Rodren Vella and Neil Stringfellow. Alistair Camp, 2 times winner this year, is down on the 5th row with our Class C winner from race 1, Michael Winkworth. Well, drier conditions this time around, which is good news. The cars will now be able to go an awful lot more quickly, and possibly we'll see some closer racing because of it, because in the slippery conditions I think a lot of the drivers were very much just trying to get to the end of the race in one piece. This time around they'll really be able to go for it. The lights go out, and for the 2nd time this weekend we're away, and for the 2nd time this weekend it's not a great start from pole for Ben Rushworth, diving into the race leader Steve Sawley, and look at that, coming up the inside line in the green car. It's been another really good start there for Christian Lyon, who we heard saying to Anthony after race 1 had a car that was better set up for the wet conditions. Well, he's made a really good start here in the dry conditions of race number 2, so let's see whether or not he can keep it up. He's side by side down towards the braking zone at Village there, and trying to go right around the outside. A few cars running even wider though as they get into the braking zone, but they are all safely through this time. There's Mac McCarthy in his Honda Civic a bit further back. He is 2nd place in the Class C Championship coming into this race as they make their way down onto the back straight for the first time of asking, and it's another really good start for Steve Sawley to get into the race lead. Now, can he hang on to it this time? We saw in race 1 that maybe the Integra of Ben Rushworth was a bit better suited to the wet conditions. Well, it's bone dry out there now, and you can see visibly how much more quickly they're able to attack the circuit. These are some of the fastest cars that race on the 750 Motor Club package, and we're really seeing them at full speed now as they drop down towards Vale. Rushworth looks to the outside, decides better of it, so Steve Sawley for the 2nd time is going to lead the opening lap of the race, but once Rushworth got through in the first race, which was about a 3rd of the way through, he really never looked back. So Steve Sawley will be hoping that he can run his big championship rival a bit closer this time around. Generally speaking, when Rushworth hasn't finished, it's been Sawley that's been able to pick up the pieces and take the victories. This is the fight for 4th place though, and Alistair Camp, who really did struggle in the wet conditions before in race number 1. Alistair Camp finished that race down in 9th place. Well, the double race victory from the first round back at Brands Hatch, the last time he covered the championship at the start of the season. He's looking now to try and make hay whilst the sun doesn't shine, but at least the rain's not coming down. Oh, that was a real lunge up the inside there. That was one of the Peugeots, wasn't it? I think Chris Southcott, the white and orange car, diving up the inside. Couldn't get the car stopped though, so it gives the place back away again on the exit of the corner. But Alistair Camp there, just in front of the battle between Ben Leach and behind him Phil Wright, the blue and grey car. Look at the cars running very wide coming out of Chapel. That's very, very wayward driving out of that corner as they try and get on the power as early as possible down the Hanger Straight. Side by side though here, with on the outside line Alistair Camp, on the inside line is Ben Leach, and Leach will go through, and so too will Phil Wright. So 2 up, 2 down for Alistair Camp, unfortunately. Right, another battle going on here further back. That's the 28 Citroen Saxo of Robert Fagg, trying to find a way past Alex Tate in the 163 car. Alex Tate, who races this car in multiple championships and series across the country, and is going on to his final lap now, but still under quite a lot of pressure here in this midfield battle that never did calm down. A bit of contact, in fact, in the background there between one of the Peugeots and one of the Saxos. That's the 43 Saxo, Chris Woods on the inside, and one of the Peugeots on the outside line there, losing the position, I believe, on the way out of Club Corner. But there, Steve Sawley, who works his way through Abbey Corner. Now, Steve Sawley is in the lead of the race. Where is Ben Rushworth? Ben Rushworth, we're hearing, has pulled into retirement. So Steve Sawley, whilst we've been focusing on the battles in the midfield, is your race leader. So it's happened again, would you believe, for Ben Rushworth. He wins the first race and then it all goes wrong in race 2. Now this, by my reckoning, means that Steve Sawley, as long as he can survive this last half a lap, and that's by no means guaranteed because he's got all of this traffic to deal with in front of him, but if he can survive the last half a lap, he could move through into the championship lead again, which he shared with Ben Rushworth arriving here at Silverstone. Well, a win and a second place for Sawley compared to a win and a non-finish for Rushworth should see Sawley move back in front. It's been a really, really good drive this though from the Honda Civic driver. He drops down in towards Vale. He's just picking his way past the last couple of back markers. And it looks as though he's going to come home victorious, is Steve Sawley, for the third time this year. He's only one win behind Ben Rushworth, but he's ahead of him in the points because his championship rival has a non-finish, while Steve takes the race victory. So another twist in the story of the Royal Purple Hot Hatch Championship fight this year. Steve sees Steve Sawley steal the advantage as we leave Silverstone and head to Donington Park for the rerun, essentially, of the races that were cancelled at the start of the year due to the adverse weather. So Steve Sawley is with the victory, from Ben Leach in second and Phil Wright in third. Martin Ward comes home in fourth position ahead of Christian Lyon, then Alistair Camp, Neil Stringfellow, Leon Shepherd, Ian Williamson and Dawn Boyd, a much improved result that time around, 14th in race 1, 10th in race 2. The class winners, Class A of course for Steve Sawley, Class B for Phil Wright, and it is Ian Williamson this time who takes the Class C victory. We had quite a lot of retirements though. Rushworth a non-finisher, Matt McCarthy excluded for that contact, whilst there were several non-starters as well, who unfortunately never even got into.
Steve, what a drive, scrapping all the way. Took the win off Ben. Got to be happy.
Oh, very happy. We all have a bit of bad luck. I mean, bad luck at the beginning of the season, but the first race, Ben was leaking oil out. That's why we couldn't get no grip, I think. It was wet. We thought, well, it can't be that slippy. And then it took us a few laps there to get the oil off the tyres. I was scrapping with Ben the first few laps. He seemed to get a gap, and we got it back. And then obviously Ben had a problem down the back. So I think a drive shaft or a gearbox, but it's, I'll take the win. We all have good luck and bad luck, so it's nice to get a bit good luck and get a win.
Welcome back to the Demon Tweeks and Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship. We find ourselves here at Silverstone, the home of British Motorsport, for the latest encounter. We've seen some thrilling action all year, and this won't disappoint this weekend either. Lee Scott is currently in the lead of the championship, technically. But if you take drop scores into consideration, it's Marcus Ward. Now, Lee, you put it on 5th position on the grid. 4 cars in front of you, including Marcus. Where can you go from there?
Well, hopefully I can only go forward, and that's certainly what I'm going to be trying to.
Yeah, it's tight at the top. Did you expect it to be this close?
No, actually, for such a quick, long circuit here, you know, the fact there's only 0.02 of a second between me and Marcus shows how evenly balanced the motors are, I think. So I think it's going to be close.
Thank you, Anthony. Yes, this should be a pair of cracking races here with Matt Rosier and Matt Stubbington making up row 1 in their pair of Peugeots ahead of Marcus Ward and Andrew Thorpe, then Lee Scott and Andy Philpotts with Martin Kayser and Ed Cooper on the 4th row. Jason Wood and Daniel Fillingham round out the top 10 of a 24-car grid, rounded out by Darren Brassingthwaite and Alan Dewley at the back of the field. So just 4 points, actually, separate Marcus Ward and Lee Scott in Marcus's favour once you take 2 drop scores into account. So it couldn't be much tighter. What's going to happen here at Silverstone? Well, let's find out. The red lights go out. We're away and racing. Good start made from pole position by the looks of it there by Matt Rosier as he tries to come down to the inside line to defend from Matthew Stubbington, who's coming back and him down towards Abbey Corner. Stubbington on the inside, Rosier on the outside, and Stubbington, I think, will have his nose in front, but can he take the lead through the first turn as this enormous field of classic stock hatch cars work their way through the first corner? On board with Rick Groom here down in the midfield, and he's got cars all around him. That's the number number 91 car to the inside line there, and through he will go, but it's going to be Rosier that leads, and into second position by the looks of it is Marcus Ward, so down to third for the early challenger Matthew Stubbington. Side by side for fourth place Andrew Thorpe on the inside, round the outside I think was Lee Scott as they try and work their way through the corner. Remember, Lee Scott and Marcus Ward, they're the two to watch out for the championship, and it's Marcus who has had the better start, on board with Scott Ward here in the number 99 car making his way down the Hanger Straight. In front of us on the red and white Peugeots, and we're going to try and go up the inside. Are we down towards Stone? Not quite close enough, I don't think. So Rosier leads the way, getting away as well at the front of the field. Now, Matt Rosier is down in 5th place in the championship, but he didn't race at all at Pembrey, so he has no drop scores to take into account. He's dropping absolutely nothing, so that gap could start to close down as the season goes on. It couldn't be much closer, though, for third place in the race, because Stubbington has got Lee Scott all over him, and then side by side behind him, Martin Kayser, the Martini car, just about getting himself up ahead of Andy Philpotts there. Jovan, he's going up the inside now, down towards Abbey Corner, trying to find a way past Ben Ward. We're on board with Ben, who leaves him room on the inside, but I think the Nova had backed out of the manoeuvre anyway. Through the flat out left-hander now at Farm, and then position yourself for the braking zone at Village, which they do. A slightly defensive line for Ben Ward. And again, not making friends with the apex. It seems to be the classic stock hatch way to take the wide line there through the right-hander. I suppose you can carry a bit more momentum through the turn, but you're leaving a very inviting gap up the inside for the car behind to maybe try and fill. Potentially take the place back away from you. So down the back straight they go, checking the mirrors, but no attack incoming for the time being, I don't think there for Ben Ward to worry about, so he can set his sights now and closing back in on the cars in front. The Peugeot that appears to have been through the gravel was Scott Woodhead. That's the white number 26 car that's a bit closer to this group now than he was a lap or so ago. This man, though, has no one near him. Matt Rosier is 7 seconds up the road from anybody else as he starts the final lap of the race now. Matt Rosier, as I said, third place in the points on dropped scores, even though he's down in 5th on outright points because he did not race at Pembrey, so he's not dropping any points. The flip side of that, though, is of course that he has to be on sort of really cautious ground now, because he can't afford to have another bad finish. Well, Matt Rosier comes into the final couple of corners and is about to take a race victory here for the third time in 2018. Matt Rosier comes out of Club Corner, makes his way up towards the start-finish line and sees the checkered flag. That was a really important win for Marcus Ward, for Matt Rosier, and he will take the checkered flag from, in second place, Lee Scott, then Marcus Ward in third, with Martin Kayser fourth, I believe, ahead of Ed Cooper in fifth. But Matt Rosier, a great victory. Really important one for his championship campaign. Confirmation of the result then. It's Rosier from Scott, from Ward, Kayser and Cooper the top 5, then Andy Philpott 6th, Andrew Thorpe 7th ahead of Daniel Fillingham, Stuart Place and Scott Woodhead, who rounds out the top 10. Then it's Ben Ward, Paul Brock, Jason Wood, Steve Groom and James Hasselhurst, we saw dicing away further back, ahead of Paul Rosier, Jason Watkinson, Martin Rogers, Rick Groom and Derek Rosier rounds out the top 20. Our 2 retirements, Alan Dewley and Matt Stubbington, unfortunately did have to pull into retirement as a result of that smoke coming from the back of the Peugeot.
Well, Matt, firstly, congratulations. A fantastic win. Peugeot's a lot quicker than the Fiestas around Silverstone.
Well, not traditionally, but I seem to have done well this weekend.
Rain's coming. Is it going to be the same in the rain?
Well, I can try. I hope so. Normally, I'm quite good in the wet, but, you know, things happen, so we shall see.
And what's it like racing a Peugeot 205? I grew up, I always wanted one, never did. You're here racing one. They look fantastic.
They are the quintessential hot hatch, I suppose. Lovely free revving engine. That's the thing I love the most. Is it's like a proper race engine straight out the box. I mean, the rev limit on mine's well over 7,000, so it's great fun. Screams around the circuit. Handling's a little bit tail happy, but that suits my style of driving, so it's good fun.
Race number 2 for the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship, and it is Matt Rosier back on pole position after his race 1 win, ahead of Matt Stubbington, hoping to finish this time, ahead of Lee Scott and Andrew Thorpe, Andy Philpott and Marcus Ward, then Martin Kayser and Ed Cooper. While the championship situation gets more and more fascinating with every race, the top 3 are now covered by just 10 points on dropped scores. Marcus Ward is 2 points ahead of Lee Scott and is 10 points ahead of Matt Rosier, who starts on pole position. Matt Rosier is certainly unfortunately not out of this championship fight yet. 3 races to go, 1 more here at Silverstone, which gets underway now, and the launch towards Abbey Corner begins with a decent start made by the pair of 205 GTIs on the front row of the grid. Now, we saw that Stubbington really challenged Rosier at the start of race 1. This time around, though, Rosier leads comfortably into turn number 1, and Lee Scott is coming around the outside into second place as well, and that's really important for Lee, who finds himself now only 2 points off the championship lead. He could take the lead of the championship if he beats Marcus Ward again in this race. On board with Ben Ward as he rushes down towards Village for the first time, and through the right-hander they go, up towards the left-hander at the link, and then the right at Chapel Corner. And are we going to see a resumption of those terrific midfield scraps that we watched in the first race? Let's hope so. It'd be nice to see a bit of a closer competition at the sharp end of the field as well, when Matt Rosing was really given things pretty much all his own way in race 1. Well, this time around, Lee Scott has got through into second position, so he might well be able to go after him. And into third, by the looks of it, is Andy Philpott, so down into 4th place for Stubbington, and that could soon be 5th position, because around the outside is coming, by the looks of it, Martin Ward to try and get that place away. Did he manage to make that one stick through Stowe Corner? They're still side by side, but the Fiesta will have the inside line down towards Vale. Now, Marcus really could do with getting on with this one, but he's got Martin Kayser up the inside of him as well. 3 abreast into the braking zone, and Kayser could get 2 places in 1, which he does. Locks up, runs wide though. They come straight back at him through Club, and Marcus Ward taking the risk to go around the outside, but it's a risk that he really has to try and take to go after his big championship rivals, and Ward does go through Andrew Thorpe, almost in the gravel coming out of Club as he runs wide trying to avoid contact with somebody. I think that was Daniel Fillingham up the inside of him, but that was a really crucial bit of driving there for Marcus Ward. He very nearly ended up losing a place, ends up gaining one and getting himself into clean air, so he now needs to try and use that to chase down the leaders so as not to lose this championship lead. On board with Scott Ward as he drops down the gears in towards Village. Andrew Thorpe and Daniel Fillingham side by side in front of us. Fillingham on the right, Thorpe on the left in the Citroen, who just about stays within the white lines coming out of Village. They'll be side by side again through the link, and of course Scott Ward will be trying to take advantage of this to carry a bit more speed down the hanger straight, which is exactly what he does. Better exit out of the right-hander, gets in the toe as well, and the Fiesta, a slightly newer car than the 2 cars in front of him, might just have a few more ponies in a straight line. It matters little though when Andrew Thorpe is able to get across to defend the inside line, and I think that Ward had to back out of that quick through this part of the circuit all race long, and he's going to try and get up the inside through the second apex. Can't do it though. Carry some good speed onto the pit straight, get back in the toe, in fact gets a bit held up there by the 11 car coming off the corner, and as we start the final lap they're 3 abreast again, and Ed Cooper dives to the inside line. He's almost in the pit wall as he goes up the inside of Marcus Ward, but I think he's going to go back through, so actually it's a place lost for Ward. He tries to fight back again though, round the outside. These 2 ran wheel to wheel through this corner a lap ago. They're going to do it again, they almost lean on each other. Stubbington's in there as well. Marcus Ward trying to fend them all off here for 4th position, and does just about succeed in doing so for the time being, but that means that he's lost touch now with Andy Philpott. With only 2/3 of a lap to go, I'm not convinced he's going to be able to close back in on the 3rd place driver, although what do I know, because within a corner he's right back with him. Andy seems to be struggling through that right-hander at Chapel out onto the hanger straight, and so Ward is right back on his tail again now with half a lap to go. At the front of the field, Matt Rosier is going to be run a little bit closer this time to the checkered flag by Lee Scott, but he always really has seemed to have it under control. There's a back marker to negotiate on the run out of Stowe, which they both will negotiate cleanly, but Matt Rosier is not going to be caught. There's a yellow flag out anyway at the final turn, so no overtaking down here. There must be a car off somewhere, but Matt Rosier is going to do the double race victory. This will be his 4th win of the season and his 2nd double race victory of the year, to put himself right in the heart of the championship battle. He wins from Lee Scott in 2nd place, and the big question is who is going to be in 3rd place in the background. It is going to be Philpotts, I think, so Philpotts will come home in 3rd, only just less than half a second ahead of Marcus Ward in 4th, with Ed Cooper 5th and Matt Stubbington 6th, but Marcus Ward is going to lose ground in the championship. He will lose the championship lead to Lee Scott, and he may even lose 2nd place to our race winner race winner Matt Rosier. There is confirmation then of the result. Rosier from Scott, from Philpotts, Ward and Cooper, your top 5, with Matt Stubbington 6th, Martin Kayser was 7th, Scott Ward 8th, ahead of Stuart Place and Daniel Fillingham in 10th. Then it was Jason Wood and Ben Ward, Paul Brock and Steve Groom, ahead of Martin Rogers, Paul Rosier, Jason Watkinson, Rick Groom, Darren Brassingthwaite and Alan Dewley in 20th. 4 non-starters for that race, unfortunately. Derek Rosier, James Hasselhurst, Scott Woodhead and Andrew Thorpe, unfortunately, never took part in the race.
Lee, 2nd again. What can you do to get past that Peugeot?
Let his tyres down. No. In all reality, Matt drove a good race today. I think this is one of the circuits that would better suit a Peugeot. But to be honest, I was quite pleased that I was so close to him to keep him so honest today. So I'm pleased with second.
Then did you go full dry setup as well?
I did, yes. Yeah. Although I had some pretty good tyres on, which I've clearly wasted now because it was dry. So, but yeah, it was full dry.
Well, important championship points. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.